Good afternoon. Dan O'Shea, the Chief of Police, Rockford, Illinois. To my left is Winnebago County State's Attorney Marilyn Height Ross. To my right is Assistant Deputy Chief Carla Red from the Investigations Bureau for the City of Rockford. And to her right are Lieutenants Kurt Wisnand and Bob Reffett from the Investigations Bureau. Announcing charges today in another criminal case. On Thursday, May 23rd, 2019, shortly before midnight, Rockford police officers responded to the area of Hill Street and North 3rd Street to meet with the Winnebago County Sheriff's deputies. An adult female notified deputies that she was the victim of a sexual assault that occurred near Hill Street and North 2nd Street. The suspect in the case was identified as 26-year-old Rockford police officer Eric Thurmond, a 3-year veteran of the police department who was off duty at the time of the incident. The detectives from the Rockford Police Department's Sensitive Crime Unit conducted a follow-up investigation into the allegation. During that time, Officer Thurmond was placed on paid administrative leave. The investigation was turned over to the Winnebago County State's Attorney's Office, who reviewed the case and authorized a charge. A warrant was obtained for Thurmond's arrest on Thursday, October 24th, and he's expected to be taken into custody before the end of the day. The charge against him is merely an accusation. He is considered innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. I will add that it is very frustrating to be up here another day discussing criminal allegations involving another Rockford police officer. Our officers go out and work hard each and every day and protect this city and work with the community to drive down crime. When we receive reports like this and the previous report, we handle them like we do every other criminal complaint, every other criminal allegation, and we investigate them thoroughly. A to Z, the detectives do every case as they did in this case. We want all the victims of all the victim voices to be heard, and if people have complaints against police or criminal allegations, I want to make sure that the city and the residents and all victims understand that we will hold ourselves accountable and we will do the case criminal investigations into whoever it is. As stated, whether an officer or whether they're anybody else, we will investigate it thoroughly, as we've done in this case. I would ask State's Attorney Height Ross to speak now.
The charges that my office has authorized today against Mr. Thurmond is a Class 1 felony, which carries 4 to 15 years should he be convicted in Illinois Department of Corrections. It is non-probationable. At this time, I again would like to thank the Rockford Police Department along with the Sheriff's Department who assisted in this investigation with their hard work and conducting a thorough investigation. Again, this is a testament to their hard work, but also to the bravery of a victim who has come forward to tell her story to investigators so that my office could review the matter for charges. As we know, it is difficult and traumatic for victims of sexual assault to come forward. Community has stigma on those types of individuals who have been victims of crime. But again, I would like to reiterate, sexual assault is a crime of violence, and we need to be supportive of any individuals who might feel that they have been a victim of sexual assault. Feel free to come forward to report that matter to law enforcement, and it will be thoroughly investigated and reviewed by my office. And if the evidence is there and charges are warranted, my office will file those charges.
Thank you. We'll take questions. Keep in mind it's an open, ongoing, active investigation, so we can only answer certain parameters.
Frustrated. This has to be particularly difficult for you and your men and women with the police department the last 2 days. Just discuss what is going through your mind given the charges against 2 of your officers in the last 2 days.
Well, I say it's frustrating because the men and women that work for the Rockford Police Department do an outstanding job. And it's frustrating to have 2 incidents involving 2 of my officers. I won't comment on anything beyond that. When we're given complaints, criminal in nature, and if they happen to work for us, we're still going to investigate it and handle it. But I don't want to detract away from the 300+ officers that do excellent work and go out there every day and give 100% effort to the community.
You said Officer Thurmond is not in custody yet, is that correct?
He expected to be taken into custody within the next few hours.
Chief, you announced the charges yesterday for Officer Basil. Happened on Thursday into Friday. This one took months. What took so long in this case?
I can't comment on the investigation. Every investigation is individual in nature, and we go with how the investigation goes, where it takes us, how we have to handle it. So every case is unique. Some are handled in a matter of hours, and some take years.
These were the same exact charge, though. Is there at least some similarity there?
You know, the cases are completely independent of each other. They're totally separate incidents. There is no common factor in either incident from yesterday or today.
Is there something with the culture of your department? There's two officers. I hate to ask you that question. I know it's a tough question to ask, but two officers announced charges back-to-back days. Can you talk about the culture in your department?
I think the culture in the police department is excellent. I think the morale is extremely high. I think we have some of the highest trained officers and the highest quality officers in the state. There's always, whether it's a police agency or whether it's a private entity or a federal agency, there is, when you have large numbers of individuals that work for you, unfortunately, some people will do things that cross the line. And Rockford, 2 in such a short time, that leads to my frustration. We never want any problems in our police department, but when we're given them, we investigate them and handle them just like we would any other case.
Chief, what's your message to the men and women who serve under you and to the community at large?
Keep doing a great job. And as I said, the men and women that work here are some of the finest in the state. There's not a doubt in my mind. And I've worked for 3 different police agencies. And the men and women here I am extremely proud of. And for them, I ask them to keep going out there and serving the public like they do each and every day. And for the community, know that no matter who a victim is, your voice will be heard, and we will investigate any criminal allegation. And I think the community should be proud of the fact that if a complaint comes about even one of our own, we will investigate it. We don't treat it any differently than anyone else.
And Chief, with Officer Thurmond having been in the Rock officer position, can you talk about, obviously he's now out of that house, is that position going to be filled? Will someone regain that position in that 15th Street house?
Absolutely. We're still committed to the resident officer program. This didn't occur because of the resident officer program. This is an individual with an act who is charged with a criminal act. The resident officer program I am completely behind, and we're transitioning another officer into that home. I believe within the next week or 2 we already have the officer who's going to move in there. So I'm a firm believer in the resident officer program. I think the benefits of that program are tremendous for the city.
Chief, when I spoke to you earlier this week, you mentioned that if there's a problem ever in your house that you address it. Can you speak to sticking to keeping the credibility of your department when things like this arise?
Yeah, the only way to keep credibility of the department is to do exactly what we've done with these 2 cases. That's how you keep credibility. We don't hide things. We don't shun away from completing difficult tasks, investigating your own. That in itself lends to the credibility of the department doing what it's supposed to do. We are a public service police agency for the residents of the city of Rockford, and I think the way we handle our investigations, no matter who's involved, I think that's a true testament to the men and women that work here.
Chief, is this a rape allegation?
It's criminal sexual assault is the charge.
So it's criminal sexual assault, but is rape the allegation on top of it?
The only thing I can say is what the criminal statute or the complaint says. It's a criminal sexual assault.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier the cases are separate. Is it connected to Basil's case in any way?
These are 2 completely separate cases, separate incidents. The only correlation or whatever between the 2 is the 2 suspects that have been charged work for the Rockford Police Department.
What is the department's official policy when it comes to putting officers on leave? Basil was placed on leave after the charges happened. Thurmond was placed on leave before the charges happened.
Both officers were put on administrative leave when the allegations came forward. They remain on paid administrative leave through the investigations.
Is there any additional frustration with Officer Thurmond, particularly because of the kind of the national platform he kind of accumulated during his years with the Rockford Police Department?
I wouldn't comment on that. I won't comment on the officers. They are innocent until proven guilty, just like everyone else. Any others?
Any thoughts of changes in, screening during the hiring process, or is that just kind of way ahead to think of something like that?
No, I think our hiring process, the Police and Fire Commission do an excellent job through the whole process of hiring and screening, and they also do our promotions. I think the men and women that serve on the Police and Fire Commission do an excellent job of bringing some of the best candidates we can find to become police officers here. All right. Thank you all for coming.